Hello, everybody, and welcome to Safest Family on the Block, where knowledge is power. I'm your host, Jason, and joining me today is Nikki from MissPoppins.com. Hello, Nikki.
How are you?
So far, so good on this lovely Monday morning. How about your own self?
Same here. Thank you for having me.
I'm really excited to have you on board. We went back and forth on email there for a while, but we finally nailed down some time, and I'm really excited about your app and your website, Miss Poppins. The thing about it is, often I'll look at a website or a book or something, and I'll go, "Huh, cool." This time it was, "Whoa, this is cool."
And that is the
So,
reaction we're going for. So good to know.
so why don't we start with what is Miss Poppins and how did you decide to make it a thing?
We launched just about this month, but it's been a labor of love in production for almost 2.5 years. We have built essentially a practitioner community that supports new parents through all phases of their journey as they transition into parenthood. So that's really the official spiel. But really, informally, unofficially, I became a mom of identical twin boys, and I quickly realized how there is such a lack of infrastructure. You become a mom or a dad and or a caregiver, and you have no idea what to do. There's no book of answers in the modern digital world. We don't have nuclear families. Everyone is globalized and mostly virtual post-pandemic. So Miss Poppins, the idea sprouted from a personal experience to create a infrastructure of support that has all three components: coaches in real time, answers, which is content right away in real time, so you never have to scavenger hunt on Google, and a community factor. So the three C's, which together come and would be the one-stop shop for parenting advice, services, and solutions worldwide.
Excellent. So walk us through a little bit. Say I'm a parent. I'm in that middle of that situation where maybe because the world is the way it is, I don't have a lot of people around me physically. Maybe my family took a job in a town nowhere near my parents, and I'm starting to think, wow, is he's spitting up a little bit. Is it supposed to be that color? And then I hop on Poppins on the app and how do I find out if that's a normal color that I shouldn't be concerned about?
Yeah, normal color. Yes, absolutely. And that's what truly was the situation I was in, right? I had the regular pediatrician, the nurse line, and they're very, very limited in the scope of answers. And you have about 100 questions a day as new parents. And of course, that number dwindles down to maybe 20 questions a day as you become parents of toddlers. But nevertheless, there are probably 20 different categories, subcategories of issues that you face through your journey as a new parent. So we said, all right, what is needed for a parent to come and feel supported? One would be they want to come onto the app, and it's so simple. They want to go somewhere and they want to click on the issue that they have, well, whether it's sleep, nutrition, lactation, behavior, postpartum, counseling, prenatal, like any of those multiple avenues that I mentioned. They just come on, they click on that particular topic, and there's a real coach available, and they start chatting in real time to get the answers, share pictures, documents, have the two-way conversation. That's how I felt fully supported when I went through the resource of having a concierge pediatrician, which obviously majority of the folks are not able to afford or don't have access to. I said, let's bring that concept of concierge white glove service to the common man and truly transform their experience. So you go in, you click on the issue you have, and you can start chatting with the coach. You have the answer right away. You don't want to chat to a coach, but you want to read an answer, find an answer. We have an AI-powered tool that's an all-encompassing content solution. So you never have to, like I said, scavenger hunt on Google. So you go in, type your question, you get it the answer right away, right? But it's a difference. Do you want to have a real person that you interact with? We have that right away on the fingertips in one click. Do you want to find just an answer, read through, watch videos? We have that. So it's kind of that all-encompassing support system that we've built, but at your fingertips in real time, being the true differentiator.
I like how you also engage in different styles of learning. There's some folks who like to read stuff, watch stuff. There's some people who really like to have a conversation.
That's truly the case. And the third component we are actually building is community, which I haven't touched on. So people either want coaching, they want to read answers. And the third component is they want to have a mentor or a friend they can talk to, right? So maybe not a coach, maybe not read, but someone they can just chat to. So this feature we're going to build and release is a mentorship-based community, which doesn't exist right now out in the real world. Facebook, Peanut, all of these are kind of frazzled apps and solutions where multiple people are trying to answer the same question. We're building a mentorship-based parent community. And so that's the 3 different ways a parent feels supported to find real-time answers. And that's the user journey that they go through on our app.
Outstanding. I'm glad that there's an alternative, because my experience with parenting forums, I had my kids early enough, it was still forums. But the parenting forums, the parenting Facebook groups, they're kind of mean.
Well, I mean, you can obviously, it's just that's just the real
Yeah.
world, but I think
Yeah.
that is helpful not to discount them. And, Peanut,
Yeah.
they've done a great job. Where you want to have multiple answers, you can find
Yeah.
it truly often. You and I realized in our career journey, corporate journey, how did we climb the ladder? How did we get where we are? We had mentors, we had champions, we had that 1 person, 2 people supporting us, right? Why not bring that to the parent community and feel them empowered enough to be able to get to the next stage? So that's what I'm kind of bringing that concept and going to test out to see how that community feature works as well.
Very cool. Now, you said you launched this month, so how's it going?
It has been amazing. You always want to stop and smell the roses, right? I tell my tech team, who's just going from one feature to the other, we launched on Google, so let's stop and celebrate that. But they're like, okay, well, then iOS is next, right? So there's always the next phase that you're looking at. Now we're like, okay, how do we enhance the user experience, enhance the UI UX now that we've launched? So it's always going to be, to a certain degree, drinking from a fire hose. But me being in HR world, or coming from HR world, corporate HR, I've realized, there's the human element of stopping, understanding where you are, then progressing, and part of that is celebrating. And so it's been amazing, but I'm not going to lie, it's a startup world, and it's all about kind of putting out fires and moving on to the next one and the next one. So it's a balancing act to celebrate and then progress at the same time, but it's been amazing for sure.
Hey, a Mach 20 with your hair on fire is how.
To a certain degree. That's why I keep it tight all the time.
High speed, low drag, aerodynamically efficient. You
Very.
are pretty outstanding. So, to get a little more personal about things, you said that you came to this with your own big questions and your own need for answers. What were some of the big challenges that you faced in those beginning years that you wish you had a mentor for?
Yes, so I mean, let's say pre-startup, right, where you are kind of understanding where you are in your corporate career and then maybe pivoting to the startup world as an entrepreneur. It's always, where do you start? How do you build a team? How do you find the right resources? There's tech, there's product, there's marketing. And really understanding how to navigate. You have a vision, how to execute the vision into reality. So from pen to product is a big journey within itself. Then there's a concept of building an MVP. So doing market research, user research, which takes months at a time, right? And so learning how to navigate the MVP world, what's important, what's not. I was lucky enough to have a great tech lead to really help me understand that part. But at each step of the way, I wish I did have a mentor to figure out, okay, here is how you transition from corporate to startup. Here's how you transition from startup MVP vision to execution of a beta build to test things out, and from beta to the soft launch that we've done right now. Everything's a learning journey, and we really have no playbook out there, honestly. There are so many podcasts, there's so many how to do solutions, but there's no book of answers, which I am surprised about. I wish, it's kind of a structured process. And so eventually, maybe, who knows, I might write a book about, okay, this is when you loop in legal, compliance, this, that, and truly step by step how you make it happen. But it was, being thrown to the wolves and coming out and leading the pack eventually, figuring it out.
Not unlike a lot of our experience with parenting.
Or like experiencing parenting. Yes, absolutely, right? Throw us to the wolves and we'll come back eventually leading the pack.
and having an app like this where people can go in when they have that question at 2 in the morning, because you know babies never really have the issue conveniently in the middle of business hours.
They don't, and so do toddlers, right? It's not
Yeah.
just babies, it's toddlers.
Yeah.
And I'm already getting questions about
Mhm.
early childhood, the mental health support that's needed for preteens, and so many issues where I thought, okay, as a parent, I'm done in terms of having 100 questions a day at age 5, maybe. So my app's lifetime value would be 0 to 5. But no,
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the beginning, especially in our modern world where, you really need more and more support as so we'll obviously progress towards that. But yeah, any time of the day or night, children, toddlers, babies alike, I think will always need the support.
Excellent. So as you put this together, and as you know, especially in terms of your own parenting journey, what were some of the things that surprised you most as you collected this team of mentors and coaches, as you started hearing the questions other people were asking?
Yeah, so the biggest surprise for us has been honestly figuring out the specific one need or niche that we want to focus on, because like I said, parenting is so many different avenues and phases. We were, usually when you look at the venture capital world, which will eventually support the growth of the app and the business, they're like, okay, what's the niche? What are you focusing on? And so you'll see a lot of businesses out there saying mental health, postpartum, lactation, right? Like they're building businesses around that. As we started working with coaches and the community, we were trying to create a niche, but we quickly realized the niche itself is the full journey of parenting. And there's still so much left to be covered and uncovered, that figuring out where to focus on in terms of the features versus the parental need, it's going to be a delicate balance. And we'll have to figure out how to strive that, because our ultimate goal is for it to be the all-inclusive parenting platform globally, across cultures, doesn't matter what country you're in, because raising kids the way you do it, scientifically knowledge-based, it's kind of the same regardless of your age, color, gender. So we have the ultimate vision. How we get there with the different needs and different niches, we'll have to figure out the delicate balance of where to focus and where to kind of let go.
And I know that you're still very early in the customer part of this. Have you noticed any trends in some of the most common questions, some of the most common problems people are bringing to the app?
We are so early. We just launched a couple of weeks ago, so we're going to start to collect that data, but we are looking at engagement through digital media, which is social media. We've launched our podcast as well, with our coaches, our video channels, and trying to start to figure out some of that data. I know a lot of the times with new parents, feeding and lactation is a big issue, and with toddlers, behavior is a big issue. So those are the two different avenues,
Yeah.
because we're new parents. And then I'm sure as the app grows and kids grow, in terms of our target audience, child safety,
Yeah.
child mental safety, physical safety is going to become another big avenue. But right now, ours is kind of like the feeding, the nutrition, the taming the tantrums, behavior, mom's physical health, mental health, nutrition, counseling, parent-based counseling, couples counseling, sex ed. Gosh, after becoming a parent, honestly, it's like, you're completely letting your old self go and becoming this new individual. So who are you as a parent and what are you as a parent is important to figure out. And that's what the focus has been. And I know it's going to shift as we evolve our MVP.
That was one of the things I really appreciated when I took a look at the app and the information you had there, that you do spend time and effort on parental health. Very often there's that narrative where, like, I used to say to myself when my children were very young, before I got some mentoring and learned better, I don't have needs. I've got responsibilities and some stuff I hope happens sometime. But that's such a different, and such, you can't be the best parent possible if you go at it with that kind of attitude. And so I'm really glad that you're serving another way of looking at it.
It's because I went through that personal journey and I face that every day, Jason, right? Is my mental health in a good space? Because if I am, I see the impact it has on my interactions with the kids. Is my physical health in a good space? Can I get away from work and from kids to take care of myself? Yes, because the days I do, I have more energy with the kids. You've got to obviously, extrapolate that to all other parents and know that once you take care of yourself, you're able to better take care of your kids. So why not have that feature? Why not focus on the mom and the dad and the caregiver in addition to coaching them, right, at the same time? And I'm a true believer in mentors, champions, coaches, which is why this was also founded. Funnily enough, there's been obviously, like, from the traditional side of parenting, a little bit of pushback is like, you should know how to parent a child. It should be natural. Do you need a coach? Like, why is someone else telling you how to do it? And it just, boggles my mind a little bit, because you will be so much better with the right guidance. We're not telling you how to parent. We are empowering you with the right set of tools and knowledge, so then you make a decision on how to parent the right way and take care of yourself, right, at the same time. And that's where the power of coaching comes in, for yourself personally and for the children.
I mean, self-taught is fine and dandy for somebody cooking at home or a blues guitarist, but parenting is way more complex than that.
I know, and there's traditional views, there's modern views, and we have to understand both sides. So I obviously try to balance. It's a balancing act, especially with the grandparents, who brought them up without any support, and they have a strong view, including my in-laws. But then understanding that and showing how much more helpful it would be for a parent to feel supported by an expert guiding them, not telling them, guiding them. It's going to make a world of a difference in the outcome, whether it's sleep, right? It's how to latch, how to breastfeed, how to prepare a meal plan. It's just so many things I've seen that are world changing with the help of a coach.
And another of these aspects I think that your app will bring to the table for it is there's that narrative, that little shoulder devil who's yammering at you about what a terrible parent you are. Do you have a question and maybe you think it's a stupid question, or maybe you think that if you ask your mother-in-law about it, she's going to judge you, or you ask your friend about it who happens to be in leadership in La Leche League, who, but if you talk to a coach or a mentor, you can kind of sidestep those mental games the unkind part of your psyche plays on yourself.
Absolutely. And what we consider that in our career, in our professional world, is imposter syndrome for a certain reason, right? It's like, are you judging yourself? Are you realizing that you're, probably not inadequate enough, and you're kind of getting by the seat of your pants, and so many different thoughts that go through your head that make you doubt. And you are absolutely right. Like, the right mentor, the right guide can help you navigate those thoughts towards a more positive approach, positive parenting approach as a result as well.
Excellent. So one other question I have about it, you've got a very good list of coaches on the site, and I haven't found the list on the app yet, but if you go to the website, misspoppins.com, you can see the roster. They all seem very qualified. On the other hand, a lot of people can just throw up the word coach and pretend they know things, and you seem to have curated them very well. So I was curious about what was your process there?
Yes, so certainly you need to have X number of years of experience. You need to have professional degree. You need to have, education degree, and ideally professionally employed. Ideally have children, have gone through it, right? So there were different metrics we wanted to make sure we have the requirements met. Each one of them, we had opened up the recs when we first said we're going to build our initial coach community. We're going to take less than 20 coaches because we're just launching, and we want to make sure that, there'll be a lot of pivots and there's going to be a lot of waiting and patience. So within the first 2 weeks, 3 weeks, we had the job recs open. We had over 600 qualified professionals apply. So when you look at the world, it's going virtual. I had pediatricians apply from hospitals because they are moms. that are saying, I have spent all of my 20s in residency. Now that I have a family, I don't want to be going in 8-10 hours a day, right? So the world is going virtual. The expertise guidance is all going ideally in more of a gig economy. So you have that work-life harmony, not really even balance. And so we opened it up and we saw so much influx of interest. We really started to sift through. I have a fantastic, HR person helping me out, and we sifted through. And I made sure the team interviewed. We had 2-3 rounds for each coach, and then I personally talked to them every week, email them, I keep in touch with them, and make sure they've met not just the criteria but the cultural values, our vision, our mission. So many important things for them to be the right coach to be part of Miss Poppins. And just a quick edit, it's misspoppins.io. But yes, but regardless, it's Miss Poppins on the App Store, which is where the app is. So that's where you should go.
Poppins.io, and you can find it just with Miss Poppins on the app store.
Yes, you can.
Thank you. Good catch. Good catch. Excellent. So I want to thank you for taking the time. I know you're in the middle of startup insanity, so it's you have your time is not your own. But before I let you go, what's the really smart question I should have asked you that I didn't?
I think I addressed the answers even without you asking the question, right? Like, when the questions I get obviously is what's the ultimate vision, and I kind of kept pinging you about the ultimate vision of where we want to be all inclusive globally. So you covered it for the most part, and even if you didn't, I answered it. But thanks, Jason, for having me on your channel. I'm so excited and thrilled to be part of their platform.
Very cool. And thank you so much for taking the time. And folks, I will put the links, the proper link with the IO, not the com, down in the show notes for anybody who wants to go check it out. And seriously, folks who watch my show know I don't go, whoa, that's cool, very often. But this was definitely one of those times. So thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you, Nikki, for coming on. Everybody stay safe. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, Jason.